It has been a volatile day in Iran after Israel-US joint operations targeted several parts of the country. Waves of strike continue well into the fourth day. Latest visuals show plumes of smoke coming out of buildings in Tehran in the backdrop of the setting sun. A short while back, Israel carried out attacks on Tehran's Mehrabad airport and other areas as well. The strike came minutes after IDF issued warnings to Iranians to evacuate certain areas of the capital. Visuals from earlier in the day showed destruction across Tehran, which has come under repeated attacks. Several buildings have been fully or partially destroyed as rubble piles up on the streets. UNESCO-listed Golestan Palace was also damaged due to strikes near the area. Visuals show shattered windows along with partially damaged walls and ceiling. The Israeli Air Force struck a building in the Iranian city of Qom, where senior clerics of the Assembly of Experts gather. The Assembly of Experts has 88 members and is primarily responsible for selecting the next Ayatollah. Now, according to reports, an Israeli official said the attack was carried out while a meeting was underway at the building. However, an Iranian news agency says that no cleric was in the building at the time of the attack. Now, according to Red Crescent, 787 people have been killed in Iran so far. The tally includes 185 Iranian schoolgirls who were killed in a strike on the first day of Israel-US attacks on Iran. The strike took place on a girls' elementary school in Iran's southern city of Minab. Ruthie Bloom is a former advisor at the office of the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. She's joining us from Tel Aviv. Ruthie Bloom, it's good to see you again. What's the situation like in Israel at this moment? Let's start from there.
Okay, well, thank you for having me again. The situation is that today there have been fewer missile barrages from Iran, although they're still going. And because Hezbollah in Lebanon decided to join in the fight, Israel has also sent some ground troops into southern Lebanon. As I said, today it's been quieter than the first 3 days, but there are still barrages of missiles and drones, by the way.
Let's talk about the future of this war. Actually, before we talk about that, there was actually differing statements coming in from President Trump and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Rubio says that they learned that Israel was going to hit Iran, and that's why they joined the fight. But according to Trump, they had information that Iran was going to attack America, and so they held Israel's hand, and that's why they moved in together with Israel. What do you read from these differing opinions and comments?
Well, at first I was surprised that Rubio said that, because Rubio is not in the wing of the administration that was against this war. And then it turned out that his words were taken out of context. And if you listen to the full press conference, he actually, when he was asked, did Israel drag you into this, he said, no, we were going to do it anyway. So I urge anybody who listened to that first report about Rubio to go back and listen to the whole press conference. Second of all, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, in a Fox News interview yesterday with Sean Hannity, described how the so-called negotiations with the Islamic Republic were really not at all negotiations, because right from the beginning, the other side said, not only said it wasn't going to budge, but it said we have enough enriched uranium to make 11 nuclear bombs. And Witkoff then said this could have been ready within a week. So even Steve Witkoff, who is very big on deals, and Jared Kushner, the two of them, we believed in Israel that they kept going back to the negotiating table because they genuinely believed a deal could be reached. But it turns out that they didn't actually believe that.
Ruthie, let me get this from you. In your own view, and honestly speaking, What is Israel's endgame in this war?
The end game is to eliminate the threat from the regime in Tehran to the state of Israel. For decades, it has vowed to wipe Israel off the map. It used to have, I don't know if it still does, actual missiles with Israel written on it, or in Hebrew letters, "We're wiping you out," and it never changed that aim. Furthermore, it has funded and trained proxies all over the globe, not just to wipe out Israel, but it says death to America, death to Israel, and is responsible for jihadi terrorism around the globe, in Latin America. It has apparently sleeper cells in the United States. It also has ballistic missiles that probably can reach Europe. We did see that it attacked, it launched an attack on a base in Cyprus, and that is a British base in Cyprus, and that forced the British to send over help, even though Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, said he's against this war. So, and they're also now, Iran is also going after the Gulf states. Listen, even Qatar, it turns out, had to join in because the Islamic Republic was attacking Qatar, and that was highly unusual.
Well, Ruthie, there are some critics who say that it will not be easy to change the regime in Iran. It will take some time. It doesn't only take the killing of a supreme leader to change the regime in Iran. It takes a whole lot. And now the conversation and the tone by President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister is different, because they're saying they want the people of Iran to go and topple their regime. Will that be possible?
Yes, well, first President Trump told the Iranian people this week, he said, stay at home while there's all these missiles flying, but soon, when it dies down, you should take to the streets, because it really isn't another country's job to topple a regime, of course. And the Iranian people just have been celebrating what's going on there, and Iranian expatriates around the world are dancing and thanking Trump and thanking Netanyahu. They want a new regime, but you're right. It's not an easy task. It doesn't happen overnight. I believe that the only way that's going to happen is that there's going to have to be defections at the highest levels from perhaps the military, if not the Revolutionary Guards. That's less likely, and the Basij militias, because it's true, taking out the supreme leader is not enough. But today, for example, a whole nother set of Ayatollahs was targeted. It's true that they claim that there were no clerics in the meeting to vote for the next supreme leader, but I highly doubt that's true. We don't know yet how many were killed in that strike, but President Trump said he hinted at this. He said, okay, there was a first wave and now there's a second, and there might have to be a third. And he was hinting that any leader who pops up is a target for assassination.